All right, all right, all right. Welcome back to 20s Decoded with your host. I'm Arjun and I'm joined with my good friend Penelope. This is your one-stop
Hey.
shop for about professional growth, health, relationships, where we talk about our own experiences and relate to you, the audience. And I kind of want to ask Penelope, how your day has been going so far. Have you been doing anything fun? I know it's like morning time for you, so what's been going on with you?
Yeah, I had an
Uh-huh.
amazing morning actually. You know what? I had some ice cream for
Ice
my
cream?
breakfast.
Girl, you're obsessed with ice cream. Like what?
Yeah, you know, I have like this machine like the Ninja Creamy, and you can make
Uh-huh.
like super easily really good ice cream with it. And so I put like some almond milk, banana,
Uh-huh.
protein powder, and then it was it. So it was my ice cream for dessert. So I mean, you you know when we
Yeah.
were in San Diego, we really
I
enjoyed
One more so
going to
than
the
the
ice cream
other,
shop.
honestly. I think you had what, ice cream 3 days in a row. Like we had, what, I think this is the first time you told me that you eat 3 pints of ice cream in a week. Are you like? Is that still the now that you have your Ninja Creamery machine, right? Do you do 3 pints still a week, or are you more or less?
Yeah, I think that it's a bit more maybe.
Oh my.
Anyway, it's just because you are a good friend, and so I can share like those kind of things with you. You know, like my love for ice cream, which which brings us to our
Yes.
topic of today, which is
Yeah.
friends in your 20s, from friends breakup to how to
Hmm.
find your people. Maybe you are growing apart with some friends, maybe you want to reconnect with some other friends, or maybe to create new friendships. So we want to discuss that today because I feel that we've been through a lot when it comes to just
Yes.
friendships and so on. So let's just discuss that today and share
Yeah,
our
I'm very
experiences
excited
on
for
that
this
topic.
conversation. Our friendship grew, blossomed actually while we were working together. So honestly, where do you want to start off? Like kind of like where you leave that college period behind, right? And you have a bunch of friends from college. Where what happened when you first got your new job? Like how did you navigate the work, like the field? Honest, well, with you personally, right? What I know about you is that you started working in France originally, right? And then you had moved to the US. So in France, when you had finished school, how did you navigate through that? Like, were you able to make more new friends on the job? Were you still talking to your friends back in college? Like, what happened with you?
Yeah, actually it was pretty fast paced because I I did not actually get a job in France because I moved straight from college, like
Hmm.
undergrad in France, to
Right.
graduate school in the US. And so everything was really like I moved like there is like a six
Hmm.
hours time difference. There is like the Atlantic Ocean between my friend from France and where I was at. So what is kind of interesting is that it really made me see the difference between feeling lonely
Okay.
and being alone. Because when you feel lonely, you can be surrounded
Hmm.
by a lot of people. When I was in New York, I was hanging out with people who were also from France. It was the middle of COVID, so
Not
I
the
mean,
best
it was
time to make friends.
kind of hard
Yeah.
to meet. Yeah, so kind of hard to meet new people. But even if I was surrounded by all those people, and some of them were really amazing, but in my heart, I was not feeling like I was being able to be my true self when I was around them. I was kind of performing, and that's what I mean when I say
Hmm.
feeling lonely, because when you're not able to be your true self with the people around you, then it's like
Right.
super hard to actually feel that connection, and
Hmm.
then you can feel lonely, which is super different
Hmm.
from being alone, because you can be actually really
Right.
comfortable being alone. You can be comfortable being alone and reading
Hmm.
a book in your room, and or going on a
Yeah.
date with yourself, going to the restaurant and so on. So it's kind of like this time in New York when I had moved from France. So my closest friends since childhood were not there anymore, or at least like not next to me. And so I had to recreate this group of friends from scratch. And then I was just like, shoot, is it really my people? I was feeling a bit lonely, but on the other hand, I was really comfortable
Mhm.
being alone with myself because I had like a bunch of passions of things that I wanted to do, and that's when I saw the difference between
Mhm.
the two. And I know that you also moved from the East Coast to the West Coast. And I assume that you had also kind of the same experience where having like to leave some
Mhm.
friends a bit behind and then recreate your
Right.
own group of
So like
friends.
you, I did my undergrad and then I immediately went to grad school, right? So like whereas you travel from one side of the world to the other side of the world, I kind of traveled from New York to Boston. So that was like a big jump for me. And obviously there's like a 4 to 5 hour drive between both of them. So I could not visit like my friends weekly or like very often. So I kind of had to restart the cycle of making new friends, right? So it kind of was like very hard for me personally because a lot of people in my grad school class were like I think the best way to meet people is to interact with the people that you surround yourselves with on a daily basis, right? So we're going to class together, might as well make friends in your class, right? So I did not like personally connect with like a lot of bunch of people in my class at that time, and I kind of felt like I was on my own, and like you said before, like feel, being alone versus like showing your true nature or acting like your true self or versus being alone, right? So kind of I was alone by myself and I kind of used that as a kind of like a self-discovery moment in my life, right? Self-discovery phase. What do I truly like? And like I kind of discovered things about myself that I did not know about beforehand. I like before like obviously like I like to interact with people and I like to do what people other people do and I'm very open to new opportunities, but what do I truly like to do? So I kind of found out that I like to read a lot more. I like to learn about different things. I became a news junkie as well, and I think I like that changed my personality entirely differently, to be honest, right? So I really enjoyed that phase of being alone and Boston, and then when I moved to San Diego, it kind of was like I started a new leap for myself, right? I was going to make this new group of friends. I'm on a different side of the coast. I can literally show a different personality of myself. And after developing that in Boston, I was able to make this great group of friends and where I can act as like my true self. To be honest, like I tried to keep in touch with a lot of my old friends from undergrad, whereas like you everybody's moving at a different phase of their lives, right? And people are getting busy with work or grad school or even like higher education like med school, dental school. And I had a bunch of my good friends from undergrad that were going to this different phase. So I found it very difficult to be on social media at that point in my life when I was in Boston and San Diego because I see all my friends partying with each other, going out, trying these new activities, going out to restaurants, and they're like I felt I had a major sense of FOMO when I was going through this, right? So yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. And yeah, what I find kind of interesting, it's exactly what you mentioned with, yes, you had
Hmm.
this sense of FOMO, but on the other hand, you managed to maintain the relationship with
Hmm.
some of your friends, which is amazing because going to different cities for either like
Hmm.
college or your first job, then it means that inevitably you're going to lose,
That
quote
is
unquote, some friends
mhm.
because of the distance. But the friends that you're going to keep, those are
Exactly,
your real friends. Those are the friends who are showing up for you in spite of the
exactly.
distance that you have. I have the exact
Mhm.
same experience, either from France, or even one who is from France and
Mhm.
currently lives in Canada. So it's just like there is just like so many, so many miles between us. But in spite of that, we still manage to have
Mhm.
some phone calls and so on. So the distance makes kind of like a
Exactly.
triage of among your friends to only keep the ones that really show up for you and really want what's best for you. So I
Exactly.
find it
I don't
amazing.
necessarily think of friends breaking up. I think friends lose touch. Obviously, you're not seeing each other on a day-to-day basis, but you could still talk to each other, whether it be once a week or once a month or once every 3 months, right? like these like friendships, like the true friends will always stay with you. Like the true friends are the friends that will still maintain contact with you, and those are the people that truly value you, right? And I think like this kind of leads into
Yeah.
like a discussion that we're going to have later on in our podcast. Like these are the people that give you energy, right? That like make you feel better about yourself, and that you still want to keep in contact with, right? Like just us as humans, right? We want to be around people that give us like, that bring us like, that make us better in our lives, right? So like for us, for example, despite like us working together, even if like we move to different companies later on in the future, I think like we will still keep up our cadence of talking weekly or like monthly, right? Because we developed that type of friendship where we can still like keep the conversations going. It feels like we've been talking daily, like when we talk, or like when we meet up, right?
Yeah, 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 that's for sure. And I love what you said
Mm-hmm.
about energy givers because there is really this difference between energy givers who are really people who just they give you energy. Even if you're super tired, you go chat with these people, spend some time with them, and then you end up having more
Right.
energy afterwards. So that it really gives you
Mm-hmm.
the energy that you need. But on the other hand, you have people who
Mm-hmm.
are energy suckers who more like they drain the energy out of you when you're not really able to be your true
Mm-hmm.
selves around them, and so then you become less energized when you see them. And I know that in life you're not always able to just say, okay, let's just see the
Yeah.
the energy givers and let's
Mm-hmm.
avoid the energy suckers, because sometimes it's just like people right next to you that you cannot
Mm-hmm.
really avoid seeing. But my rule of thumb is really try to spend more time
Mm-hmm.
with my energy givers and a little bit less time with my energy suckers, even if I need to spend
So you
time
keep like
with
a
them
certain
sometime.
distance between the energy suckers, but then you reel in the energy givers, right? That make you feel better about yourselves, right? You encounter these people daily, right? Like people at work can be both or one or the other, right? So like, how do you like move about that? Say if like you are in the office, right, and you are working with somebody, like somebody on your team is an energy sucker. How do you go about dealing with that, for example?
Yeah, it's
Hmm.
a very good question. Actually, I think that it's a lot about not taking
Hmm.
things personally, meaning that you never know what's happening in
Right.
someone else's life. This person might be going through very hard stuff. So just like taking with a grain of salt everything that this person is saying or doing, and really, really like not taking it personally, meaning like you put
Right.
kind of a mask saying, okay, I need to accomplish this task for this person, or I need to go see like on my personal time
Hmm.
this friend of a friend. I don't really have a choice. So how can I make the most out of it without this person sucking
Hmm.
the energy out of me? That's when you
Hmm.
put the mask on. When yes, sometimes you just have to perform, and that's the way to do it. But putting some putting some emotional
Mm.
distance between you
It's
and the
kind of
other
like how
person.
you like you have this like alter ego when you're in that environment, right? And you let that like alter ego take in like all the hits and whatever. Like work can be tough for any of us. Like we are very fortunate enough to be in this environment where most of the people that we work with give us good energy. They are energy givers, right? But unfortunately not a lot of people out there have that case, right? A lot of people work very stressful jobs, people take energy away from them, and like you have to like, and unfortunately to say, it's like a dog eat dog world right out there, right? So you have to do everything that you can, like you cannot cause tensions and whatnot. So you kind of have to put this alter ego, like I always think of like Kobe, like when he put that black mamba phase on and he had this alter ego where he's like, screw everybody else, I'm going to kick ass right now, and I'm going to like be the one of the best in the world, which he was. And I think like it's the same kind of mentality that you have to keep in the workplace environment, especially if you have a lot of energy suckers around you, right? Ignore all the BS that's around you and focus on the main goal, right?
Yeah. And I feel that we are very fortunate to be in a
Hmm.
corporate environment because we work at the same company where we
Hmm.
have energy
Yeah.
givers around us. So it makes it more fun, and you're more willing to go to work
Yeah.
every single day. Um, But so that being said, so we mentioned that you have like those friendships or relationships that can
Mm-hmm.
maybe like grow apart in your 20s. But how can you do when you want, let's say you move to a new city and you want
Yes.
to make more friends. When you moved to San Diego, how did you proceed? How did you end up making amazing
Making these
friendships?
amazing friendships, like I've become very, very good friends with actually the people I used to work with, right? And like it's funny enough to say that, like, like with these people that I was working with, I used to see them maybe 16 hours a day because we would hang out at work, we would hang out outside of work, and then we would just go to bed, right? So I would be seeing them for 2/3 of my days. But actually, like what happened is that there's this very cool app actually that is like can be that's all that is called Meetup, right? And there are all these different events happening in San Diego, and I was actually able to meet up a lot of people at bonfires, like casually just sitting on the beach. Like I come from New York and New Jersey, right? So like it's just very weird to me saying that, oh yeah, I'm going to go to the beach on a February or January and just go chill by the water. And so like it was very foreign to me. I went out there. There was like 60 or 70 people that actually came and participated in different bonfires, and you're able to see who you vibe with. And I actually met a very cool group of people. Unfortunately, I'm not that like in touch with them because the pandemic had come and everybody had like gone their separate ways, whether they moved back to their parents' home or they stayed in the town. But like I was able to meet a lot of people through that, and I was very fortunate enough to get that opportunity and able to see that, like, hey, this is actually very cool that like I was able to move to a different city and make a bunch of friends. And I had one friend tell me that because she's moved like from city to city, she told me that like you truly don't like make a city your home or like a town your home until you live there for 2 years, like, or you don't make friends out there, right? You become acquainted to the area, you become um, known around, and people know you, and like you've established your friend groups. Like you truly don't have that until like around 1.5 to 2 years in. I would love to hear how you, like, I know you've moved from France to New York to SF. Like, were you able to go about it? Like, I know I've had my story, but what did you do in your process? What was your process?
Yes, that's very interesting. Um, so I would say that it comes down to
Mm-hmm.
maybe 4 steps. The first one, you need to I mean, that's what I did. I chose an activity that I really like. For me,
Mm-hmm.
it's sports. So I was just like, okay, let's try to do some
Yeah.
recreational sports and to just sign up for teams and so on, not knowing anybody. I was just,
Yeah.
let's do it. So I signed up for kickball, I signed up for dodgeball, and it's amazing because then we were like, I think it's maybe like 300 people signing up for like each sport and then like with
Yeah.
different teams and so on. So then
Uh-huh.
you show up regularly. That's step 2. Every single week you go to this activity so that then you can regularly meet
Mm-hmm.
the same people. And some of them you will vibe a little bit more with, some of them they're just going to be acquaintances. That's okay. But that's when
Right.
comes the fourth step. For the people where you really enjoy spending time with, you just you do something else than just the main activity that you're doing together. So you hang out at restaurants, you go on a hike, and so on. So that then it deepens the friendships or the
Mm-hmm.
relationships that you have. So it's really more like showing up every single week, seeing the same people, seeing that
Mm-hmm.
you vibe more with more people than with other, and then doing other activities apart from the main activity. And
You found
it's
that
the perfect
Yeah.
recipe.
You
For
found
me,
that
it works
common
really well.
interest and you're able to establish a friendship through that. It's truly amazing. Now because these friends have become your good friends in SF now, right?
Yeah, I've only been
Yeah.
there for maybe 6 months, and I feel that I have, like, really
Hmm.
great friendships over there. If it's only been things 6 months, it's amazing, and
No, I'm
yeah.
truly amazed because you've also like done like a bunch, like you went to tournaments with these guys. You traveled to Vegas, right? Or travel to Vegas, yeah. So like
Yeah.
you were able to travel with this group. You were able to like you were able to interact with them in different settings as well. So it's like truly amazing and remarkable to see how fast you were able to build these friendships, right? Whereas like some people say that it takes 1.5 to 2 years, where you've made your friend group within 6 months. You really put yourself out there. So this is a side note to our audience. Penelope is probably one of the fittest people and like most active people that you will ever meet in your entire lives. Like I kid you not. But like no, just like how you were able to go out and do all these different sports and able to like because like I mean I know you're super active and you go to the gym, you do all these recreational sports, and I don't know how you're able to manage all the stresses of the world like that, like with work and everything. But you're able to make a very good friend group out of it, and it's truly amazing.
Yeah, and you know what? I feel that also the reason why the both of us we became
Mm-hmm.
friends in the first place is because we had this
Yes.
common interest. Because we are both going to the gym. So that was kind of,
Yes.
like the spark that then helped us
It
build this
wasn't
friendship.
work. It wasn't
So,
work working
I we
together. It was literally the gym that brought us together. And we were doing different exercises in the middle of the office. People were like, what the hell are these guys doing over here? Like, why? Why are they doing squats? And why are they looking at their forms and whatnot? But that's what truly bonded us, right? It wasn't even like work. I don't think we even like were like in like a couple meetings, like maybe one or two meetings together, but like we bonded over that. And I think that's very common in the workplace, right? Like I'm quite fortunate, like happy that we met through work, and it's also a pleasure to be working on the same team. But even if we were on different teams, like that, it's still been the same friendship. So like it's like truly remarkable where you meet your closest friends as well. But going back to the point we brought up before, right? Like say like keeping in contact with like your old friends, like the friends that you made in undergrad back in France. Like how do you go about it? Like from a day-to-day perspective, right? Like do you interact with them usually weekly, or do you meet them like I know you go to France a couple of times per year, so like how do you go about navigating through that?
Yeah, so it's true that there are, like, different
Mhm.
time frames for that. The first one is just on
Mhm.
a day-to-day basis. So I have the habit now to set every single morning at 6 AM, I send a message to somebody
Mm.
who matters to me. It can be a friend, it can be a family member, just, kind of saying,
Yeah.
"Hey, I'm there," or just, like, thanking this person for whatever he or she did for me in the
Mhm.
past, or just, like, catching up. So then it kind of reinitiates
Mhm.
the conversation. Sometimes it works and it ends up being like a conversation that is like 20, 30 messages long. Sometimes it's just like, "Hey, nice to hear from you."
Mhm.
So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is just, yes, when I come back to France, I only have a limited number of days over there. So I really have to choose who I want to meet, which brings us back to the question of, who do you really want to spend your time with? Are you spending your time with those people because you feel lonely? Or are you spending your time with those people because you really want to hang out with them, because they bring you the best energy that you can ever imagine? So
Mhm.
that's the other thing. It's just being able to actually, sometimes it hurts saying no to people who are not really your friends, who are just acquaintances and who do not really bring
Mhm.
you the best energy, and saying yes to weird stuff, to going to Las Vegas for a dodgeball tournament, because it's not really dodgeball
Mhm.
that I'm really passionate about. It's more like the people I'm meeting when
Right.
I'm
It's not like
playing
the
dodgeball.
necessary activities of like doing it, right? Those are fun, but then you also have the people around you that like make you feel better about yourself. You're acting like your true self, like you're your own person, right? You're not like watching what you're saying, but you're able to be open and honest with these people and transparent, like being your authentic self. And like you had mentioned in the beginning,
Yeah.
right? Like finding people that are able to accept that true authentic self and be able don't judge you for who you are when you be your authentic self. And I was telling Penelope on the side this a couple of weeks ago, right? Seeing her now and comparing her to what like she was back in New York, like she's truly made that. remarkable, like made that friend group of hers that makes her look like even happier. Like there's like glow to her face that like is very apparent to her, and you'll be like, oh my god, this girl is like on top of the world. Like she's like on cloud nine.
But it's really thanks to
Mm-hmm.
people like you that I was able to do it, because like you are definitely part of my energy givers. Just like hanging out with you, either like in real life when I was in New York, or
Mm-hmm.
when we went to San Diego, or even just like via Zoom, or phone calls. Just like it gives me more energy. And you're really amazing, because for instance, when we were in San Diego, we hanged out with your friends, with whom you
Mm-hmm.
maintain this friendship even if you're not in San Diego anymore, and they are still your very good friends. So it's amazing. Also, I would like to know how actually like you kept up with those friendships that you had
Mm-hmm.
in different cities you were living in spite of the distance, and in spite of like the
Yeah,
time difference.
definitely. So especially when I was living in San Diego, I know it's like a 3 to 4 hour difference between coast to coast, right? So like it's like how you said before, you truly like you recognize your true friends for the people that they reach out, they go out of their way to keep you in contact, and they think about you actually. So like when I was like on the West Coast and my friends would FaceTime me, whether they'd be at a party or they'd be just alone on one, right? um they like you truly recognize people that uplift your spirits and think about you. So for me personally, I try to keep in contact with the people that I feel that I can like be my true self, authentic self, and I let my inner feelings out to them as well, right? So and from I like people that do the same thing with me as well. I think like being reciprocal and having a symbiotic relationship is like the best way to keep friendships going. So being like a true authentic self, like how I am around you and how I'm in the workplace, right? Helps to resonate with people actually. So I know I'm going a little off topic, but like to go back to your point of like maintaining those friendships, I try to schedule like maybe like a weekly call or like a monthly call with a friend, to like make sure just to make sure we just don't fall out of touch, right? These people were very close to me growing up, or whether they were in college as well. So that's definitely one way. I've kept up another way that I've kept in touch with, at least especially with my high school friends, is through fantasy football. I'm a diehard Giants fan. I'm sorry for the people that are around the nation listening to us. Like I know the Giants weren't great this past year, or these last 5 or so years. It's sad, but like I truly love like football, right? And like my high school friends and I have been keeping we've been keeping the same fantasy football league going for the last 10 or so years, like since we were in high school together. So truly that has kept me to close to my high school friends, and even like a grad school friend of mine, he's been like planning, like he's been doing fantasy football leagues as well, and like we bonded over that, and I've been part of his fantasy football league for like now last 3 year 3 4 or 5 years. Man, I'm losing track of time. I feel like I'm getting very old at this point. I'm losing track. But yeah, like honestly, different interests keep people together. My friend that you also have met in San Diego as well, right? She's huge into paddle. Oh my god, pickleball. I first I blanked out for a second, but like we talk about pickleball, and she got me into pickleball, and same with you as well, right? So like I've been wanting to join a league, and like we've been in contact about it, like different techniques and how to be better, and like just talking about our stories. So that's like helped me keep in contact with a bunch of people. Personally, I know friendships do fall apart as time goes on, but the good thing is that these friends are not truly lost. Like you've never like truly have lost, have fallen out of contact. You can reignite a friendship truly by just reaching out and saying, "Hey, I was thinking about you the other day. You want to go grab a drink or whatever?" Especially if they were in the area. And well, for a lot of my college friends as well, like I was able to do this, and um even like not being in touch with a good like for a good 4 or 5 years, right? And out of the blue you can message them, and they become good you're able to reignite that friendship and still meet on a day-to-day, or like sorry, like a week-to-week basis. I've established a couple, like I've reignited a couple of friendships like through doing that, and friends have done that with me as well. So I think like that's truly like how you know you have good friends, and despite wherever you travel around the world, these friends are still there for you. Like I jokingly say to my friends in San Diego, you're gonna be in my vacation spot. Like whenever I come through, I'm just gonna crash on your couch or your extra bedroom or whatever. But like in all honesty, like I love them like for who they are, and like we're able to keep that contact still going, and it just gives me another great excuse to go travel to that side of the world. Like when I like now that you live in SF, like I can come through whenever I want to, and I just crash on your couch as well, and that's like truly a beautiful thing. So yeah, how about you though?
Yeah, I love it, and especially when you mentioned so your friend in San Diego who then directed you to
Hmm.
just like pickleball leagues and so on. So it's really like branching out. When you mean like you meet this person with like this
Hmm.
thing that you have in common, pickleball for instance, and then thanks to that you meet other people who have like the same passion, and then you're going to meet like some
Yes.
other people and so on. But that being said, it's really not about the quantity but more
Yes.
about the quality, meaning that yes, you're going to meet all those people, and among those people then you're going to choose
Hmm.
who are your people. But at some point you need to put yourself out there and actually get to
Exactly.
meet those
And
people.
also like a beautiful thing is that like friends like I can introduce you to my friends as well, and you guys can become great friends as well, like how you and my friend in San Diego were able to become good friends during your visit out there, and now you have another friend out there. So I think that's like the best way to make friends of friends. Like the pandemic has made it hard for a lot of people to go out there and meet people. I'm truly grateful for the like friends that I've met along the different coasts, and like for the friends that I've been in contact with for so long now. These are truly like our lifelong friends, and like it's not like a job to keep them like and keep in touch with them, but it's like kind of like a joy to be in contact. These people bring me energy. It goes back to the energy givers and suckers, right? Like these guys are energy givers, and it's always like a delight to speak to all of them. So I truly value that as well.
Yes, I feel that if we can wrap up in maybe like
Hmm.
3 points, it would be the first one is that there is a huge difference between feeling lonely but surrounded
Hmm.
by a lot of people, and feeling comfortable being alone with yourself when you can actually discover your true self and then reach out to people who make you able
Yeah.
to be your true self. Which means that sometimes, that's the second point, friendships just you grow apart, and sometimes you want to reignite that friendship, sometimes you don't really want to, and that's okay. And it does not mean that this friendship was not great, it just means that at the point you're in your life right now, it's not
It's
the best person for you, and that's
it's
100%
natural.
okay.
Yeah.
And then yeah, and then the third point is just how to find your people. And it's just like showing up regularly every single week or every single month to
Hmm.
the same activities, seeing the same kind of people, and then finding the ones that you
Hmm.
vibe the most with. The ones who are energy givers versus the one who are energy suckers and who suck the energy out of you. I feel that yeah, it's a good wrap up for today. If you
No,
have
I
anything else to
really like
add.
how you touched upon the points, the big 3 points, right? It's truly like natural, like for friends to fall apart, like to not fall apart, but like to lose contact. But you are always able to reignite that flame or like that friendship, like later on in your lives. These friends are truly not gone. You're just moving on to a different phase of your life, and you will eventually get reconnected with them later down in your life. So no, I definitely I love how you touched up on those points. So Penelope, like, can you tell me what we're going to be discussing next week? I'm actually very excited to hear what we have in store for our audience.
Yeah, and actually, it's going to be the exact reason why we are friends today. It's building healthy habits in your 20s, which include for us going
Doing
to the
squats in
gym.
the middle, doing squats in
See
the
you next week.
office. Thank you so much, guys, for listening to us. See you guys next week. I hope you enjoy us, enjoy listening to us, and yeah.